Hey everyone, it's Jad again from AI to Z, where I'm gonna teach you everything there is to know about artificial intelligence from A to Z. Today, we're gonna be discussing how to get Python running on your own machine. In today's video, you're gonna learn how to install Python, what's an IDE, why do we need an IDE, and how to install it. And by the end of the video, you will be able to run your own Python code on your machine. And the good news is, all you need is your laptop. Yes, we're gonna be starting from scratch. So without further ado, let's get started. Before we get started, I have to say that I'm using a Windows machine. So if you're either on Mac or on Linux, no worries, I'm gonna be saying the main differences. If you face any problems on different operating systems, feel free to say so in the comments below. And if there is enough demand, I might even do different videos for Mac and Linux as well. The first step is to install Python. Python is just like any other applications on your PC. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go online and find the app and download it. So I'm gonna be using Chrome. You can use any browser that you have. And I'm gonna type Python install. Now, I will put this link in the description below, but you can just find it by typing Python install on Google. So we're gonna go there to python.org/downloads. And as you might see, they already detected that I'm on Windows. So they say download Python for Windows. But if you have any other operating systems or for some reason this operating system is not really yours, you can just press on the links here to find the Python for your operating system. So I'm gonna click on download and this is gonna give us an installer. Now the installer would be in your file manager and then in the downloads folder. You can see it here. Otherwise you can find it here after you click on the downloads button. And if I double click on that, this is going to open the installer. That's basically the main thing that's going to install Python for us. And as you might see, we have a few choices when we run the installer. A very, very important choice is to check this button here that says add Python to path. So Python is an application like any other one. But when we add it to path, we can basically access it wherever we are on the computer. And this is very important because we want to be able to access Python wherever. So I really encourage you to check this box and then press on this install now button. Once the installation is successful, you're just gonna press on this close button here. And so now you have Python. The installer worked, you have Python on your PC. And so the question is, what does it mean to have Python? How can I use the application? One simple way to use Python is just to go to your search bar here and to type CMD or command prompt. On this command prompt, you can just run stuff in general. And so one of the things you can run if Python is correctly set on your path, you can just type Python here and then enter. And this will open Python for you. What you see here, Python 3.13.7, and then the arrows, this means that Python has been opened, and now you can use Python. You can do Python code. For example, I can create a variable and say this variable is equal to 4. I can print hello world, and this works. But even though we installed Python, we're not done yet. Python is just a programming language. So as you can see, we can run basic line of codes, but it's not really easy to edit the code, to write multiple lines. And so what we need when we want to code in Python is what we call an IDE, an integrated development environment. An IDE is just another application that will make our life easier when we code in Python or in any other programming languages. So let's go ahead and install an IDE. My preferred IDE is Microsoft Visual Studio Code. Of course, there are many others that are quite popular, such as PyCharm, for example. If you want another tutorial using another IDE, please say so in the comments. I might do another video. So how to install Microsoft Visual Studio Code? It's very similar to how we installed Python. We're gonna go to our browser. For me, it's Google Chrome. So I'm gonna press on Google Chrome. I'm gonna open a new tab and just type Visual Studio Code. And I'm gonna go ahead and click on the first link. It's basically code.visualstudiocode.com. I'm gonna put this link in the description below. And I'm just gonna enter and click download for Windows. Now, if you have any other operating systems, usually this button is automatically gonna change to download the required version for your operating systems. So I'm gonna press on download. The download is automatically gonna start here. I'm gonna fast forward through it. Once the download is done, you can either click on this button here or just go to your file manager here, the yellow folder, and then click on downloads. And you can find your VS Code setup installer in here. I'm gonna double click on this installer just like we did for Python. This is gonna open the installer for us. Then we're gonna read the agreements, press on accept, then next, next, next. And as you can see, we also have the add to path button, which we're gonna keep checked because one more time, we want to be able to access Visual Studio Code anywhere on the PC. So I'm just gonna go ahead and press next again and install. I'm gonna fast forward again through the installation. Once the installation is done, we can press on finish. I'm gonna keep this button checked here, which is gonna launch Visual Studio Code automatically. So I'm gonna press on finish, and as you can see, Visual Studio Code is gonna open. And that's what you should be able to see if you're opening Visual Studio Code for the first time. Let me start by explaining the main parts of Visual Studio Code. I'm gonna go ahead and maximize the screen here. And as you can see, we have different things we can look at. The most important part is the top left part here. As you can see, it's the Explorer. You can either click on it or you press on Ctrl-Shift-E, and this is gonna open the Explorer for us. And this is where you'll be able to open some folders, open some files, because later we're gonna be writing Python files where we have multiple lines of Python that we want to execute or we want to run. What we're gonna do, we're gonna press on File here on top, and then say New File, which is gonna open a new file for us. And then Visual Studio Code is asking us, what type of file do you wanna write? For now, I'm just gonna press on Text File. And as you can see here, we have our editor. The editor is in the middle where we can edit certain files, which could be Python files or others. For example, in this case, it's a text file. So let's try to write a Python script. A Python script is a file where we have multiple Python lines. So just like we did before on our CMD, the black screen where we wrote 2 Python lines, here we're gonna write Python code, but multiple lines, and try to run all of them. So let's start by typing the same lines we wrote before. So x is equal to 4. And then I'm gonna go to the next line and write print hello world. And so now, first, how do I tell Visual Studio Code this is a Python file? I'm gonna go ahead and save it by saying File, and then Save, or you could say Ctrl-S. And this is gonna open for me to choose where I want to save the file. So I'm gonna go ahead and just save it on desktop. And let's say trial. Now, the first way to tell Visual Studio Code this is a Python file, and this is not just a regular plain text file, is by adding an extension to the file. An extension is what comes at the end of a name of a file after the dot. So if I say trial.txt, this is a text file. If I say trial.gif, that's a GIF, so it's a video. And basically, the extension for Python is py. When I save the file as filename.py, this is a Python file. Visual Studio Code is gonna know it's a Python file, and even your computer knows that now this is a Python script. This is where we have Python lines that we want to run. And so I'm gonna go ahead and save it as trial.py, and as you can see, Visual Studio Code automatically detected it's a Python file, because look at the logo here to the left. That's the logo of Python. So Visual Studio Code understood that this is Python now. And as you can see, Visual Studio Code is already asking us, do you want to install the recommended Python extension from Microsoft for your Python language? Microsoft Visual Studio Code automatically detected we're using Python, and now it's proposing for us to install some extensions. What are extensions in Visual Studio Code? Visual Studio Code itself doesn't really support any coding languages. It only gives us the basics. But in Visual Studio Code, there are what we call extensions. I'm gonna press on X here so we can do it manually, and you can know how to do it later on for other extensions. So if you go here where we had the Explorer, as you can see, we have other buttons. The last one here is called extensions, or you could click on Ctrl-Shift+X. If you click on extensions, you're gonna see here many extensions that can be installed. If you have already installed extensions, you're gonna see them here in the first part. As you can see, I have nothing since we just installed Visual Studio Code. And so what are extensions? Extensions are things that give us even more advantages when using Visual Studio Code. And for example, as you can see here, the first proposed one for me is Python. If you can't see it, you can just press on here, search extensions in the marketplace, and then just type Python. And as you can see, this is the first and most popular one with 185.5 million downloads. We're gonna go ahead and install this one, and as you can see, automatically it should install the debugger and the environments for us. For now, we're not gonna talk what debuggers or environments are, but we're gonna cover these in upcoming videos. Once it is done installing, if you press again on the Python extension, you're gonna see now these 3 buttons, either disable or uninstall, and this means your extension was installed and enabled, so now you will be able to use this extension. Now I'm gonna go ahead and close this window, and as you can see now my Python file is colored. These colors are part of the extensions. As you can see, my print is in yellow, the line in between quotes is in orange, my variables are in blue, and this is going to help us a lot when doing a very big code of Python because colors makes it look nicer. And also, if you want to read more about a certain function, you could just get closer to it with your cursor, and as you can see, it gives me the definition of print, it tells you what print does, and so all of this is part of the extension. So I highly recommend installing the extension in here so you could write Python codes more easily. Now, we wrote our Python code. The question is how to run it. So again, we have multiple lines of Python and we want to run all of the lines, starting by the top one and going to the next and then the next and then the next until reaching the end of the file. And so the way to run this Python is by coming over here and press play. As you can see, this says run Python file, and that's also part of the extension. So if we press on this run, Visual Studio Code is going to open the terminal for us. And what's a terminal? A terminal is very similar to the black window that we opened in the beginning. It's just that Visual Studio Code is going to open it for us and it's going to run Python for us on the file. And so Python is going to go ahead and run each line one after the other. And as you can see, here we can read behind me, hello world. And this is what came from the print statement here, and x has been defined to be equal to 4. Now, just to show you that we're actually running multiple lines, I'm going to go ahead and type another print statement and say print hello world again. And so now if I press on the play button here, again, we're going to run the code, and as you can see, we're going to see hello world and then hello world again. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. In today's video, we learned how to install Python, what's an IDE, why do we need it, and how to install it. If everything went well, you should be able now to run some basic Python code on your own machine. But this is only the beginning. If you're interested to learn more about Python and specifically how to design AI models using Python, don't forget to like and subscribe so you know when I upload a new video.